Guys, so let's go over our sentences from today, okay? So today, it is supposed to say, is Sam a friend? And the other one is, yes, he is my friend. So I want you to look at the first sentence that we have here, and I want you to talk with your partner about what needs to be changed, okay? Each one, and I would like, who do I want to go first? Peanut butter to go first. Those are my good sugar kids. You're really going to show Dr. Stevens. Okay, so with this first sentence, can someone raise your hand and tell me what do I need to change to make it correct? What do I need to change, Haley?
You need to put an I and change the and the E.
Show me with your sign language. Do you think that's right? Yes or no? A lot of people are giving me a yes. Okay, so I need to add an I because friend, it's kind of spelled funny, right? But you've seen it so many times. It's a word you're going to see a lot. So you just kind of have to remember how we spell it, even though it looks a little funny. So Haley is saying we add an I because otherwise it would be friend, and we want to say friend. Grace, what were you saying?
It makes the N short E
friend. So F-R-I-N-D. Raise your hand. Is there anything else that I need to change to this sentence? What do I need to change? Claire.
The E and the I.
The E and the, we're only talking about the first sentence right now. So can someone tell me, show me with your sign language, do we have all the corrections that we need right now? Everyone's saying yes, so we only have one correction.
Except Amir.
Amir, what change do you think we need?
I think we have to change the S on Sam to a little baby lowercase.
Okay.
What is this name?
That's a good thought. Oh, but Dusty says it's a name. That's a really good thought, but with names, what do we do with the first letter of a name?
Uppercase capital.
That's right. So with a name, we have a big S, but that's a really good thought, Amir. So I think we've got everything in the first sentence. Let's look at the second sentence. Yes, he is my friend. Teach to Cookie. I want you guys to talk about what change needs to be made.
We need to do something and never bring it back.
What do you think is wrong?
Why does it always have to
I heard so many of my friends saying the right thing right away, and I love how everyone is listening to the cookie milk thing and taking their turns talking. I really like that. Can someone raise their hand and tell me what change or changes do I need to make, Grace?
Change the E.
What do I need to do to the E?
Make it go bye-bye.
Make it go bye-bye. Okay, so we're crossing it off, so then it's just M-Y, my. Are there any other changes that I need to make? Oh, I need to see my friends raising their hand. I can only call on people. Yes, Addison.
The Y in the front is a baby.
This is a little Y?
Yeah, it's not like this.
It's not a big Y. It's not a capital Y. What do you guys think? No? Why are you saying no, Benjamin? Why do we need to make the Y big? Do you know? Does anybody else know? Braden.
Because it's the beginning of the sentence.
It's the beginning of a sentence. So what do we always do in the beginning of a sentence? What do we do?
Uppercase capital.
Right. So that's correct, actually. So it looks good, I think. Let's look at this. Yes, he is my friend. Show me with your sign language. Do you think our sentence is done? Okay, great job, everybody.
The thing in the middle of that.
Which thing in the middle?
I'll show you.
Oh, just stay there and tell me. What is
in
it?
between the yes and the
Oh, what is that called? What's that called? I'm glad you brought that up. What's that called?
It's called a comma.
It's a comma, and when you see a comma, that means that you take a pause. So I would say it like this. Yes, he is my friend. So when you see that, That's actually right, because you take a pause instead of saying, yes, he is my friend. That sounds kind of weird, right? If I said, yes, he is my friend, you would say, yes, he is my friend. So we actually need that comma, but I'm glad that you brought that up because maybe you haven't seen that before. But you're going to see that in a lot of your reading and writing. Okay. So moving on.
What? Where?
So I have a question.
What are you doing here?
Yesterday, we talked about setting, okay? What is setting? What does that mean? Can someone raise your hand and tell me what is setting? Dusty.
Where it takes place.
Where it takes place, and it's very important to a story, okay? So I want you to talk with your partner, with your Teach One partner. How does the setting make a story interesting? Teach One, Jelly.
Okay.
How does the setting make a story interesting? Okay, I need all my friends to be looking up here. Crisscross applesauce, hands in my lap. Let's show Miami, my teacher at Miami, that we can be good Shimmick students, okay?
Is it a boy?
I'll tell you later.
It is a boy.
A good story can pull you into it. We talked about that yesterday, okay? And also, an interesting character can feel like a friend, so setting can really matter. But I have another question for you. This question is how does a good setting hold your attention? So I want to set up some stories for you, and I want you to listen really carefully because setting really matters in each story. So I'm going to tell you the first story. So Grace, let's put the chair down. And I'm going to start with my first story, and I want you to think about it and think, is this interesting? Do I want to keep reading? One day, Addison walked into a room, just a blank room. And she sat there. Show me with your sign language. Would you want to learn more about that? What about this story? Listen really carefully. Addison walked up to an old dark house that was on top of a hill. And she walked up the hill and there were bats flying around and there were creepy crawly worms on the ground. And she went up to the porch and she knocked on the door and she looked in the window and saw a ghost in the window. Show me with your sign language. Would you want to learn more about that? Would you want to hear the rest of the story?
Yes.
So as you can see, setting matters. If I just say, she walked into a room and it was just a blank room with nothing on the walls, nothing was happening, there were no details, there was nothing that made it interesting, you wouldn't want to learn more about it. So I want you to ask yourself, what about that second story made it interesting? When you heard that second story, what about it made it interesting? Teach two. No. Talk about what made it interesting. What about the setting? Friends, how does a good setting, like in that second story, hold your attention? How did that story get your attention, Nora?
It had like a lot of fun stuff. It had a lot of details.
There were bats, and there was a ghost, and there were all different kinds of things,
And
right?
Addison said-
Oh, raise your hand. Addison, do you have something to share? What about that story made it interesting? What about the
Because
setting?
I did part of it and I said,
You said, eek, if you walked into a blank room with nothing in it, you probably wouldn't say anything. You just say, oh, this is boring. Haley.
in what grade? It was interesting.
It was interesting because I had all those details and it really made the story better, right? Okay, one more, Lars.
Whenever you like make it like blank and like not good, it's like super weird.
Super boring, right? Have you ever read a story where you thought the setting isn't really interesting, so I don't really want to learn more about these characters or what they're going to do because they're in a place that's not very interesting, right? So setting really, really matters.
Like the music.